Hello, Libra. Welcome to your June 2025 reading. My name is Nigel, and you have found alchemy. Okay. I don't know if you watched the shuffle and layout, but these cards were pre-pulled from your spring reading as promised, so we could expand upon them and really get into your June. Yeah, I mean, June promises to be a very, very good month for you here, Libra. This is probably the best reading I've done so far for June, and I really like that for you. But I'm going to recap this a little bit just in case you didn't listen to that reading, and we'll recap it briefly. You do have the wish fulfillment card. I mean, this pretty much says it all, right? You can expect a wish coming true. This might very well be something that for some of you, it'll be something that you have worked really hard towards, and for others of you, it might be a very big surprise. It might be something that you weren't even thinking about. You might have been actually wishing for one thing, and you end up with something entirely different. But either way here, Libra, a wish is going to come true. You have, to drive this point home, you have the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles. I'll get to this card. I mean, normally I pick it up first, but I just want you to know the Ace of Pentacles, as we know, is pure earth energy, and it is a gift, right? This is an opportunity being handed to you. Usually it's of material, right? It could be a job, it could be money, it could be an opportunity, right? A very interesting, lucrative, stable opportunity. You do have the sun here in reverse, and this is Leo, as we know, pure Leo energy. And this, in many, it'll be different in all readings. In this reading, I do think it's a need for inner reflection on what will make you happy, because you're going to be coming into some information and a brand new path opening up, and you're going to have to make some decisions this month. Now, to drive this point even further home, you have the World. And in this deck, the World, there are two versions of this last card, okay? Um, they have the World in this deck, and then in the same placement they also have the Universe. And you pulling the World instead of the Universe leads me to believe that this is going to be something that has tentacles into your future, something that's going to lead to something else, something even bigger. But it is going to be a pretty interesting thing no matter what. Even if you stopped here, you would be very happy. But I don't think it's over yet here. I don't think that this is it, right? There's more. There's more. There's success, there's achievement, but there is definitely more await you. And the advice here, I mean, is the 10 of Pentacles, and this is Mercury in Virgo energy. And this is the advice. So the advice is to think long term, to think in terms of very long term abundance that has staying power, not just, oh, I got this great raise and this great job. Now I'm going to be able to go on vacation. It's like, no, I want generational wealth. I want something that will not only do really wonderful things for me, but maybe even my children if I have them, or other people. It's bigger. It's going to end up being much bigger than you even imagine here, Libra. Now, when we add this up and we break it down, we get Venus, right? And that is, your love life, and as we know, it also represents money. And in my humble opinion, this is a very money-driven, goal-driven reading, okay? So if you're here for a love reading, you'll probably be disappointed if you listen to this, but I do encourage you to listen, because this really is a really good reading here, Libra. So yeah, you do have the Venusian energy crowning that whole pull. Now, as we move on, we have the Harvest. I mean, another great card, right? Something is coming to culmination. And for many of you, like I said, it's fruition. It is something, the fruit of your labor type thing. This could be an unexpected harvest for some of you. I mentioned that over here. It could be something, you could have been tending to something and something else pops up, like, wow. So either way, definitely look for a harvest of some kind. You have the Sword, and the Sword is very air-driven energy, like yourself. But this card is pretty interesting, right? The Sword in this deck anyway is sort of to decide, right? And the blade on the sword separates one reality from another. The sword is now in your grasp. And do not hesitate. You need to make a decision. Definitely, it's going to be like that, right? A good analogy is like when a child's born. When you're born, right? When you leave the world of the womb and enter into the material world, a cord is cut, and the sword would be that instrument that separates, right? That world we share with our mother is now over. And that moment defines our permanent separation on some level and our entrance into this new doorway. So definitely it is something that, as far as I'm concerned, that big that's happening to you here. You do have the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups, it does pay to note that, I do not take these overarching cards in reverse. However, I do take note, especially when these cards come in reverse, and this card did come in reverse. This is Pluto and Scorpio energy. And it's, you may have gone through a recent disappointment or a loss. For some of you, this may be a recent disappointment or a loss that you were very focused on. But this reading is drawing attention to what here is in back of you that you may not have seen coming, that you may not have seen ruminating. So like I said, for some of you, it is definitely, you were focused on one harvest, not realizing there's something else here. And you see that bridge right behind, like on that side. And that bridge leads to a brand new world, but this person is focused on the spilt cup. So now this could be, like I said, something that happened in the past that sort of took your attention. Or it could be something that happens this month where you're like, damn, I mean, you feel like you've lost something. There's like but you haven't. And before the month's over, you're going to attain this other thing. So it could be one or the other, but either way, a win is in the future for you here, for sure. Okay. Because this card did come in upside down, I can't help but think you're going to realize exactly what you should be focusing on here. Libra. So you have your letters, which are, let me see if I could get them here. You have all, let me see if I can get my pointer. How's that? That's even better. God knows where it is. I have cards everywhere. I'm not even going to find it. I'm not going to waste your time here. But you do have R, Y, P, H, W, and B, and this could be someone's initials. It could be a street name. It could be a city estate. Could be an airlines. Could be a restaurant. Whatever it is, it's definitely, it could be the name of a building. This is definitely going to matter by the month's end. One of these letters or all these letters are going to matter to you. So keep them under your hat here for sure, okay? You have these three cards, and it's pretty interesting, honestly. Because, well, I'm going to start from here. There is something going on here. You're going to be called upon to approach something differently from how you have approached it in the past. As you can tell, this person has a way out of this hole, but he or she is very, very cold. And they think, well, first things first, I don't want to freeze to death. I will build a fire and then I'll think about what I'm going to do next. And this card is beckoning you to approach something very different from how you have approached it in the past. Let me see if I could refocus this. There you go. So yeah, you're going to be called upon. Maybe this person building a fire, maybe that's always worked for him or her. But you're going to have to approach it differently. You're going to be climbing out of this hole in a whole different way than you're used to. And this is what I find interesting. The voodoo doll came up again. When I tell you this card might come out once a year, maybe, it's come out over and over again in people's readings this month. It's just crazy. It's very strange. Could this be someone working against you in the background? Yes, in many readings, that's exactly what it is. But I don't think it's that for you. I think for you, this is you using some sort of a thing to help you. And what does that mean? It could be let me put this down. It could be magic. It could literally be spell work. It could be prayer. It could be the power of positive thinking, the law of attraction. You have implemented something here, or angels, right? Talking to angels, talking to ancestors. I don't know what it is. It could be anything. It's something spiritual, of spiritual nature, that you're using to help you, or that you have used in the past to help you, that you may not have thought was helping, but guess what? It is, because you have here the nebula, and this is a beautiful card. This is a card of going through a really tough time. We're trying to break through, because the good stuff is right here, and you're trying to break through and trying to break through. And as you can see, the outer shell it's difficult, right? You can't get through. There's blackness there, but this is the month that you're going to make this breakthrough, Libra, and I really like that for you, for sure. It's really, really nice energy. Now, moving on to your charms. Yeah, here we go. You do have the pocket hug. And it's, yeah, see, always remember that you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, loved more than you know. This might be a saying from your childhood, but I have to tell you, no matter what, this is definitely a pocket hug from spirit. This is someone, something that you have implemented in your life, saying you may not believe that it has helped, but it has, because my God, look at your charm. Like, I don't think I've seen a reading like this in a long time. And I do throw up enough bad readings to where, not everyone gets a good one. Okay. So you have here 2 keys. You have the gold key, let me see, and the silver key. The key, you're going to be opening doorways, and there is nothing that is not possible this month with this energy. You also have the arrow, and the arrow is, and by the way, the gold and the silver keys is, one is keys to the spiritual world, which is what we just talked about, and one are keys to the material world. So I'm telling you, something good is going to happen to you, and it's going to be a direct result of somehow you working with spirit on whatever level you have. Okay. You do it, like I said, you have the sign of Sagittarius here, and on target. You've pulled back the bow, you've released it, and it is going. You have the moon here, and this is definite Cancer energy for sure. And it's your intuition. Your intuition will kick in. It's another very spiritual charm. You have and here it is. You have the angels, and see, this is coming out right side up. There is something in the spiritual realm that you have been working with. And like I said, do let me know. It could be you working with God, with spirit. It could be you working with spells, which are really a different form of prayer, right? Anything. I don't want to go down the list again, but something is working for you here, okay? And you also have the coin of Scorpio, and it says passionate, but I don't know if you can see that. It is the sign of Scorpio, and it is in reverse. Now, there's something going on with the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio seems to be very important. This could be someone you're dealing with. Or it could be an overall vibe, right? This passion, there is a passion. Because it fell on that side. You are going to discover something this month that you are actually being granted, that you become very passionate about. So it's a very, very good thing, but something to do with Scorpio here. So we'll stick that under our hats as we keep, like forging forward here. Next up, you have Jupiter, and Jupiter is number 18 in this deck. Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. You might have some sort of Sagittarius placements in your chart. You may be dealing with someone with Sagittarius placements, but no matter what, Jupiter is the planet of expansion and luck. So the Wheel of Fortune type energy is in your corner here. It does pay to mention that on June 9th, Jupiter enters Cancer. And the planet of luck and understanding and expansion moves into the caring energy of Cancer. And you did pull Cancer over here as well. Trust your instincts, right? Until the end of the year, it's going to be there. So I think it's sort of important. Your energy is sort of going to fuse with that. Interestingly enough, you pulled 2 asteroids here, Juno and Lilith. And, we'll start with Juno. It does say marriage, commitment, and bonds. But you could be committing yourself to something. It doesn't have to be a marriage, although we are married to our jobs in some way, right? We're married to our goals in some way. So that's a sort of spousal energy in some way. It really is. So you may be committing. You may be committing to a whole brand new thing. But what's fascinating is that Juno started retrograding in Scorpio in April 2025. And it will continue that way until July. So you're right smack in the middle of all this. And there's that Scorpio energy that we said that was so important, right? It's a time of introspection, reflection, on our relationships with others, with jobs, with bosses, with husbands, with wives, with people, with friends. Examine any challenges that may be present. It's a really good time for that, from now until July, for sure. But if you really want to double down on what's fascinating about this reading, is that you also have this asteroid Lilith, and it says power, activism. It does say vengeance, but I'm not seeing the vengeance so much. There is Lilith on the table, and Lilith is another asteroid. And guess what? Lilith will also be in Scorpio in June. Scorpio again. The planet or the sign, the ruling planet is Pluto with Scorpio, and that is a rebirth energy. What did we talk about with the sword? It's almost like being reborn, right? So Lilith will be in Scorpio, has been since March. It's significant because it brings into focus power, dynamics, transformation, and perhaps repressed desires or desires you didn't even realize you had. Really, really cool energy for you here, Libra. I can't say it enough. Okay. You have, let's start here. Now, these cards generally represent thoughts of the people around you that they're not sharing. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not so great. But you do have somebody that wants to check in with you. It says, I want to catch up and make sure everything is going well. So you might experience a check-in from someone, a good friend, a family member, a boss, somebody like that. And there is something here. It says, curious, I am intrigued and I want to learn more. So I have a feeling this curiosity may have something to do with this opportunity that you're going to receive. All good things, though, right? All good things. Let's pick all of these up and just look at them. You have talent. It says born with features, person at born with, things that you're born with. Maybe, maybe not. But I have to tell you, you are talented. There is something you're very talented with. You may know exactly what I'm talking about right now, or this may be something that you've thrown to the side and said, you know what, I'm never going to make money doing that, so I'm just going to do this. But there's something going on here where your talent is going to be sort of catapulting you into something here. You have moving up, right? I mean, here it is. It says you are increasing your power and status. You may get a promotion or move to a better home or office. You climb the ladder of success. Exactly. I mean, pretty much, right? That's exactly what we said. You have here, it says window. It says framed views, glass portal, windowsill. You're going to be opening, with these keys, you're opening the door to something. You're going to be getting a window to something else, to something different. It's as best as I can see it. It says glass portal, and you are moving through a portal. It is a portal of some kind. You have your planning phase. It says take a step back and plan the necessary steps to move forward so you may turn your goals into reality. You're going to be presented with something that is going to create a planning phase for you, a brand new planning phase. You're going to be like, okay, now with all this information and with all this newfound whatever this is, I am going to now enact a plan, a brand new plan. It's going to be something you're very passionate about because there's a lot of passion here in these cards for sure. Yeah, definitely. I can see that. Okay, so now these are your three legs here, Libra, and the three legs can come in order or they might not, I always have to say that in case this is your first time here. Your last leg could come first. I do receive reports about stuff like that all the time. So just keep that in mind. Now, on your first leg, there is some sort of, and see, it does say repressed. There could have been some talent you were repressing, but there is some regret here. This is born from some regret. And this is the card of regret. You're looking one way in regret, but something else is brewing here, Libra. You have justice, and yeah, that's your card, right? Libran energy. Your energy at its most potent. This is you at your best, okay? Something is getting rebalanced. Something is getting new clarity. Something is getting a chance here. You have the Eight of Cups coming in reverse. And the Eight of Cups is Mars and Pluto energy. And it says to me, it speaks to me of you not walking away, because that is the card of walking away. You're not walking away from that which you thought you might. Your past some past disappointment may have created something of a surrender attitude. Now, for at least one of you, that's true. You know when something goes wrong in your life, or a few things go wrong in your life, you're like, fuck it, I'm not doing any of this now. I give up on everything. One of you could have had that attitude. One of you could have had an attitude like that towards something in your life, saying, this isn't really going anywhere. I might as well just walk away. But this is in reverse. There is something that you had regrets over. All right? Because you have here also the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is Moon and Cancer energy. The Page of Cups is coming in reverse. It's an offer taken back, right? That could be this. It could be you taking your emotions back. It could be. I really do think that there is something lost here that you were upset about, or you will be upset about for a very short period of time before something amazing takes its place. And I'm not exaggerating here, Libra, at all, because my readings do piss people off when they're not good. I don't really understand that energy personally. I think if every reading from every single title looks amazing and then how accurate could it be? Is everyone in the world doing great? It would be nice, but it's not true. It's never true, right? So you have to be very happy that you are one of the cardinal signs really, really doing well in this energy, and you expect good things here. Okay. When we add this up and we break it down, it should really not surprise you that we get Pluto, which is what? Scorpio energy, that death and rebirth energy. Pretty fascinating. Now, talking about Scorpion energy, on your second leg here, you have what? The rebirth card. This is my card of Pluto. You know, it really is scorpionic energy, that rebirth energy. So that's all over this reading. All over this reading. Something has to die in order for something to be reborn, or for something to come to fruition, right? You have the Magician here in reverse. Now, the Magician, in my opinion, is Aquarius, but many people think it's Gemini or Virgo. You put that wherever you'd like, but with the Magician in reverse, it may be time to recalibrate. Well, it will be absolutely time to recalibrate your goals. The way you have been accustomed to accomplishing them may be different from what's going to be expected of you. We talked about that over here. Okay. So you're going to be recalibrating, reorganizing, reassessing your tools and your talent and all that stuff. And now in the middle of your reading, and I always say the center card is very potent, you have the amazing Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is Venus and Aries energy. It is your center card. It is the finish line, success, balance. You're something, I can't say it enough, something's coming to fruition here. You do have the Lovers here in reverse, and that's Gemini energy, as we know. So this may have been a relationship that broke apart. This also may have been a plan that you had that broke apart. There is tough decisions here on the table, difficult decisions. However, you're going to pass this time with flying colors, with that Four of Wands energy. When we add this up and we break it down, we get that cardinal number 11. You are a cardinal sign. The cardinal number 11 is a bridge from one place to another. You are the sword. Walk over the bridge here, Libra. Leg 3, chemistry, passion. Remember I said your passion was going to be reawakened here? It is. It's going to be reawakened. It's going to be put in my opinion, in a whole different direction, a direction that's going to pay off. I mean, it's going to pay off in a big way. You have the Celestial Warrior. And this is it's what I call a super arcana in this deck. It's a sort of a bonus arcana. It's a bonus major arcana. But if you look at this setup, you have Justice, the Magician, and this. 3 major arcana in a row down here, right? The Celestial Warrior is a fire energy. It's a phoenix energy, right? Rising from the ashes of something else, for sure, right? So you have Justice, that rebalancing of the perfect Libran energy, to the Magician, that reassessment, and the Celestial Warrior rising up. Love it for you. You have the, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you have the Ace of Wands. This came in next. Sorry about that. You have the Ace of Wands coming in here in reverse, and this is fire energy, and it is taking your passion back, right? And putting it in a brand new direction. That came up more than once. This might have been the 3rd time this came up. So yeah, you're reassessing where you're placing your energy and your passion, and you have Judgment here in reverse as well. And the Judgment card is Pluto energy, right? It is rebirth energy, but it's also what, like we said a few times, a reassessment, right? Making that decision not in favor of something, but in favor of something else, if that makes sense. Reassessing where your passion is directed, like that for you. And, when we add this up and we break it down, we get Jupiter energy. Again, that expansive, good luck, Sagittarian energy over and over again. Really, really nice energy for you here, Libra. Sorry, I always straighten out these cards to the point of absurdity. Now let's look at your challenges a little bit so you're a little bit more prepared. You do have Mercury, excuse me, and there will be messages coming in. There'll be communication coming in. And they'll be challenging to hear. Some of it may be challenging to hear. Try to relax through this, because something's coming. If you end up losing something, or you end up focusing on this loss, understand that this is a bridge to something really, really good here, okay? You do have the Hierophant coming in sideways, and the Hierophant is Taurian energy. And, this is a card of commitment in many, many readings, including this one, I think. And you're trying to decide what to commit to. It's a challenge, at least for a small part of the month it is. So you're going to be making this decision. And initially it might be difficult, but just definitely hang in there. You do have the Nine of Cups in reverse. And that goes with this card, right? A wish that you had not being granted, a disappointment you've experienced. It could be, like I said, for some of you in the recent past, for some of you this month, but it leads to that a different place. It's almost like that was necessary, if that makes sense to you. You do have the King of Swords, right? So the King of Swords is Sun. Oh, by the way, the Nine of Cups is Jupiter and Pisces energy. The King of Swords, Sun in Aquarius. And he stays very logical and balanced. He does carry that sword with him. He knows when to cut things and when not to. And it's going to be a challenging aspect for you this month. It doesn't mean it's impossible. I think not only do you pass this test, if you want to call it that, you pass it with flying colors, but it's challenging for at least part of the month here. When we add this up and we break it down, what's fascinating is we get Mercury again. So messages that are coming in may be a challenge for you this month, because the Spirit is sort of doubling down on that energy. Okay, as far as your numbers go, when we add all the numbers up in this reading and we break it down, we get the number 7, which is Neptune energy. It is that confusion we talked about. It's interesting. This came out again. Yeah. So you're going to be confused for at least part of this month. Try to relax and work through it so you can get to the other side, to the good stuff. Okay. As far as numbers go, the number that came out the most, there was a neck and neck tie between Pluto and Mercury. And definitely, I understand why Mercury is showing up, because you're going to be receiving messages that deeply affect you on a positive level and maybe even a negative level for part of the month. And Pluto, which is that Scorpio energy again, right? That death and rebirth. It does pay to mention that on June 26th, Mercury enters Leo. And so you have to expect your words to be very grand and bold. But the only caveat there is to make sure that your follow through is appropriate, because that energy does push us to make claims sometimes that we can't always back up. So that's a tiny bit of a warning here. You have the planet that was mentioned the most was Pluto. So there's Scorpio again. Okay, big deal. And the signs that were mentioned were Capricorn, Taurus, Pisces, Libra, Aries, Gemini, Aquarius, Virgo, Leo, Cancer, Sagittarius, and Scorpio. The two signs that were mentioned the most were Scorpio and Pisces, which is Neptune and Pluto energy. None of that is surprising to me. I love doing the numerology because it always ties everything together in a perfect bow. Definitely let me know here, Libra, what happens to you, because this is a really nice reading. Namaste.